Hand hitter. Reynolds is the first man up in the last half of the sixth. There's the windup by Gomez. The pitch to him. He gets a ball inside. A little bit too close to him for ball one. Pitch was in there about shoulder high. Dickey's throw back to Gomez was almost over his head. Ball one, the count. Gomez getting a sign from Dickey. Dickey crouches down, puts up the glove for a target. The pitch comes inside again for ball two. Making the count to Reynolds, ball two. Ball two, the count. Already there's the windup, and here's the pitch. And it's a strike over the outside corner for strike one. It came in right at the knees. Making the count 2-1. It's a called strike. Gomez gets his sign from Dickey. Carl Reynolds the first man up the last half of the sixth. Here's the pitch and a foul back into the screen and back of the plate, making the count 2-2. Ball two and strike to the count. Reynolds stepping back in the batter's box. He was out momentarily waiting for that new ball to be rubbed up by Gomez. Already there's the windup, and here's the pitch. And the ball is hit for a high pop up to the infield. Crossetti is coming in and back of the mound. He's under the ball. Dances around under it a couple of times, finally takes it for the out. Reynolds popping out to Crossetti, the shortstop, who came in and back of the pitcher's mound to take that ball. The next man to come up is going to be Gabby Hartnett. Hartnett coming up, and he's getting a nice round of applause. Hartnett stepping in the batter's box, a .333 hitter in yesterday's game, hasn't had a hit today. Here's the pitch, a high one for a ball, ball one. Sort of a high lobbing throw, nothing much on it. Gomez getting a sign from Dickey. There's the windup, and here's the pitch. Hartnett hits a long ball. It's going way deep into center field, but DiMaggio is going back after it. He gets under it and takes it for the out. It was a long fly ball, about 380 feet away from home plate, but it was to dead center. Had the ball been hit to left or to right, it probably would have gone into the stands for a home run, but that was hit to dead center field. Collins is up with two out, nobody on the bases. The last half of the sixth, and the Cubs leading 3-2 over the Yankees. Here's the pitch. The ball is hit for a high foul back into the screen and back of the plate by Collins for strike one. Pepper Collins, the first baseman for the Cubs, is up. Field ball has been thrown in. Collins has had one hit and a strikeout and two trips up in this game. Here's the pitch, and he takes a slow ball, hits it down to Red Rolfe. Rolfe comes up with it. Collins is running down to first. The throw is way wide by Red Rolfe, and he is safe at first base. Waiting for the officials. It's an error for Rolfe on the throw. Error for Rolfe at third base on the throw. That's the second error in the ball game for Rolfe. Rolfe had an error in that first inning on a catch coming from the outfield. Catch of a ball coming from the outfield. Collins is on first base, and the batter is Jurges. Here's the pitch, and it's a ball wide to Billy Jurges for ball one. After Jurges, we see Dean. Billy Jurges up with a man on first base. Gomez getting a sign. Here's the pitch, and the foul back into the screen and back of the plate. For strike one, making the count 1-1 to Billy Jurges. Dickey throws another ball into play, getting it from umpire Coles and back of the plate. Throwing it out to Gomez on the mound. Gomez getting a sign now from Dickey. Dickey puts up the glove for a target. Here's the pitch. And the ball is hit way deep in the right field, foul. Way deep in the right field stands. The ball curving off the end of the bat as Bill Jurges hit just a little bit too late on that outside ball. Ball curved into the right field stands for strike two, making the count 1-2. Ball one and strike two the count. There are two outs. Toss over to first base. A nice easy throw by Gomez over to Gehrig. Sort of a game of catch. Billy Jurges waiting for the next pitch, is standing up there at the plate, swinging a couple of times to get his timing down. Here's the pitch from Gomez. It's a ball on the inside, a curve ball, breaking into a right-hand hitter. Jurges took it for ball two, making the count 2-2. Ball two and strike to the count, two out. Here's the pitch. The ball is hit on the ground over Gomez's head. It goes down to Crossetti. Crossetti comes up with it, steps on second base, and Collins is out. Forced at second base by Crossetti. Brings to a close the last half of the sixth inning. The result of the inning, no runs, no hits, one error, an error by Red Rolfe of the Yankees, and one man was left on the bases. Brings to a close 6 innings of play in this second game of the 1938 World Series, with the score standing at 3-2 in favor of the Cubs over the Yankees. This broadcast of the World Series game between the Chicago Cubs and the New York Yankees is coming to you from Wrigley Field, Chicago. We pause for station identification.
This is the WBBM Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago.
And now again, ladies and gentlemen, Pat Flanagan.
Thank you, John Harrington. Ready to go to work? Dean and Hartnett, the battery. The boys are playing out in left field for a pull hitter who's coming to bat, Joe DiMaggio. DiMaggio, Gehrig, and Dickey coming up as the first three men to face Dean in this inning. Cubs 3, Yankees 2, as we start the first half of the seventh. Ready for the ball to be pitched. Dean has his sign from Hartman. Starts into a slow, easy wind-up. Sidearm curve, ball high. Ball one. A little high that time for ball one. Kind of a ball that keeps climbing all the time. Here's the next pitch. Outside, curve ball, wide for ball two. Gabby makes a sign down toward the bullpen. Next one, the umpire says it's ball three. Gabby makes a sign for them to lay down first at the bullpen. The next sign is to get up. His first sign was to stay down. The next sign, get up. Ball three, the next one's a strike in the outside corner. 3-1 is the call. Man at bat is DiMaggio. Dean winds it up. He's ready to pitch. Here it comes. There goes the ball foul out toward left field. He went too soon for a slow ball. Ball three and strike two. Larry French and Jack Russell warming up for the Cubs. Hartman yelled something to Dizzy Dean. 3-2 to the hitter. Dean's out there on the mound, has his sign. Dean starts his windup. He's going to pitch it. Here it comes. There goes the ball toward third base on a hop to Hack. Hack over to first base. He's out. DiMaggio is out from Hack over to first baseman Collins. That's one down. Gehrig comes to bat with a perfect at bat. He has walked once, singled once. Lou Gehrig comes to bat. One man down, nobody on. There's the pitch. There's the ball for a high fly toward right field. Right fielder Demery is coming in, playing the win on the dead run. He's waiting for it and gets it to the out. Gehrig got on the fly to the right fielder. Next one up at bat is Dickey. He had a perfect day at bat yesterday. Today he's popped out to the shortstop and hit into a double play. Dean goes up to the mound to get his sign. Dean has his sign. He's ready to pitch it down. Two down, nobody on. There's the ball fouled up into the net. They're starting to take a cut at everything that Dizzy puts down there that looks good. It's the seventh inning, and the Cubs are ahead 3-2. Turned out to be a beautiful, bright, sunshiny day along about the fourth inning. Still a few fleecy clouds up in the skies, but mostly it's clear. There goes the ball for a drive out towards center field, way back deep. Marty's after it. He has it. Out on the fly to Marty. Men coming up and down in the seventh inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. No one left on base. All good Cub fans come to their feet in this last half of the seventh inning. We have Dean, Hack, and Herman coming up for their turns at bat. They're getting all ready to go. Dean, Hack, and Herman coming up to face Gomez, who was allowed 8 hits and 3 runs. Playing the last half of the seventh. In the second inning, the Cubs got their first run in the first inning. Hack singled. Herman struck out. Hack went over to second and on down to third when Demerty got a hit, and it was an error charged to Rolfe on a ball that he missed when it was thrown in from right field. Marty hit a long fly that DiMaggio got against the center field wall, and Hack scored. In the second inning, DiMaggio singled. Gehrig walked and put DiMaggio on second. Dickey popped out to the shortstop. Selkirk hit a long ball out to center field, and with 2 out, Gordon hit a slow roller off toward third base. Hack and Jurgis both made a dive for it. They hit each other. The ball rolled between them, went for a double. DiMaggio and Gehrig scored, and Gordon called up on second base. Then Gomez flied out to left. Gomez having his warm-up throws. The Cubs got their second set of runs. When they came to bat with the first man up in the third inning, Hack getting a hit. Then Herman got a single. There was a sacrifice by Demerty that advanced both men to second and third. Marty, who had driven the run in the first inning, got a double out to right center and drove in those 2 runs. Then Reynolds walked. Hartnett popped out to center field, and Collins struck out. So the Cubs are ahead by a score of 3-2 as they're playing the last half of the seventh. It's Dizzy Dean coming to bat, facing lefty Gomez. Dean comes up and taps the plate and gets all set to go. Last half of the seventh. Ready for the ball to be pitched. Dean's waiting for it. Right past his nose, in close for ball one. Fastball. Dean got a hit his last time up. Dizzy's watching for it, swinging that bat off the shoulder. Started for that, changed his mind, and took a fast hook in the outside corner. It was a screwball, beautifully pitched, and it broke away from a right-hand hitter and caught the outside corner for 1-1. Dizzy Dean's watching. The next one's down in the dirt. Picked up and thrown back quickly by Dickey. Ball 2, strike 1 is the call. Dean's the first man at bat in this inning, which is the last half of the seventh. Here's the pitch. Dean socks one to right field. It's a single. Dizzy has his second hit, which is hit number 9 off of Gomez. Dean didn't try to kill the ball, he just met it. Next man up is Stanley Hack. Down over on first base is Dean. He's having the sweater jacket put on now. Stanley Heck coming to bat with the man on first base. The infield drawn up, watching for a sacrifice. Red Rolfe is playing shallow. He's up in the grass inside of the third base circle. A pitcher starts to warm up for the Yankees. In fact, two pitchers start to warm up. First ball pitched down with a high ball. Hack let it go by. Hack let it go by. Dickey came up with it and was all poised to make. They were looking for a sacrifice. Murphy and Hadley warming up. Next ball pitched in is called a strike. Ball one and strike one. Gomez pitching fastball as Hack gets ready to try to bunt. He's trying to sacrifice Dean down to second. The Cubs are leading by a score of 3-2. It's 1-1 to the hitter. Stan Hack is at bat. Tried to bunt and the ball went foul. Came back and hit the umpire on the foot. It's ball one and strike two. 1-2. Hack tried to bunt like he did in the Pittsburgh series, attempting to drive the ball into the ground for a high bounder, which would give both men a chance to be safe. Hadley and Murphy warming up for the Yankees. Watch for the pitch to Hack. Takes the ball, called for a strike on the inside corner, and he yells about the decision, but the umpire says it's a strike right in there called, and Hack had a slow change of pace ball that fooled him that time. He's called out on strikes, which is strikeout number 4, I believe, for Goofy Gomez. Right, John. Thank you. Billy Herman comes to bat. He's had one hit this afternoon. Yesterday he batted .250. Man on first is Dean. Billy Herman at bat. First ball pitched. He tries to hit it out toward right field, but it's a fastball, and he hits it foul up into the upper deck behind the first base. When Herman steps forward in the batsman's box, he's trying to hit behind the runner. Dizzy Dean laid that ball out in right field by just tapping at it. Dean's taking a lead at first. Billy tries to hit one to right field, and he fouls another one back into the stands, way down in the right field stands. Gomez is working very rapidly. The boys are in there taking their cuts on both ball cuts. Dean is working very rapidly, too. Watching for the pitch, the Cubs leading 3-2, a man on first. Next ball pitched is right past Billy Herman's nose. Ball one, strike two. One man down, a man of it on first base. And if the Cubs can get a rally started here, they can cause a lot of trouble. The if is Mr. Gomez is pitching himself a flock of baseball. Billy takes another high ball right past his nose. Ball two. Ball two, strike two, and Dizzy Dean's over on first base. He wants to go. But they're holding him there with the hope that Bill might be able to get a hold of one. They're playing him for a full hitter out toward left. Billy Herman's a boy at bat. Hits the ball foul off to the left of the plate. It's a foul ball. Strike two is still the call. Ball two, strike two. Dickey goes over, retrieves the ball, and starts around the infield, but it doesn't go very far. Gehrig immediately gives it to the pitcher. Billy Herman steps up into the batsman's box, taps the barrel of the bat down against the plate. Man on first is Dizzy Dean. It's a 2-2 count to the hitter. There's one man down. Watch for the pitch. He swings too late at a fastball. Goes down swinging. That's strikeout number 5 for Gomez. He struck out 2 in the first inning. He struck out 1 in the third. And now he has struck out 2 in the 7th to the man aboard. Demerdy coming to bat. He's had a hit, laid down a sacrifice, and flied out to center. Dizzy Dean is trapped off of first base. Gomez ready to make the throw, and he misses it, and Dizzy's making him go all the way to second. Now he's running back, and he's finally put out on a throw from Gomez to Gordon. Dean is caught off first. Dean caught off first, and he goes out from Gomez to Gordon. The side is retired, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and no one left on base. That ends the 7th inning. We start playing now in the first half of the 8th inning, with the Cubs still leading by a score of 3-2 in a very tight ball game. Selkirk, Gordon, and Gomez, the first 3 men to come and face Dizzy Dean. Dean out of the mound, picks up the rosin sack, gets ready to take that ball and have a few warm-up throws with Gabby Hartnett. Score is 3-2 in favor of the Cubs. We told you how the Cubs made their scores and how the Yankees got their 2. So you can see how the ball game has gone since those early innings. The Yankees are still a dangerous club, and the Cubs are just as dangerous. Get those hits. The Cubs have had a hit in every inning except the 6th. That's the only inning in which they have gone hitless. They got 2 hits and a run in the first inning. They got 3 hits and 2 runs in the third. They got 1 hit in the 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 7th. But when the first man up got a hit, then Gomez really bore down. They still have Hadley and Murphy warming up for the Yankees, figuring probably that if Selkirk or Gordon get on, they can relieve Gomez. The Cubs have French and Russell keeping warm. Dizzy Dean gets ready to pitch this ball down to Selkirk. Dean winds it up, arms overhead. They're playing him for a pull hitter toward right. He hits one out toward right field. The ball takes a hop out there and is thrown back into the infield in a hurry, and they find a man of it on first base. Selkirk got the hit that put the tying run on. Now we'll see what the Yankees do. That is hit number 4 off Dean, and the first hit they've had since the 4th inning, and it's the second hit that they've had since the 2nd inning. They're starting to take picks on Disney now. And that first pitch, we'll see what happens. The man at bat is Gordon. Flash Gordon likes to hit that first pitch. There's a look toward first. The pitch. Gordon takes the floater that gets away from Gabby, but he picks it up and holds the runner on first. Ball one, too low. Right down in the dirt. Score is 3-2 in favor of the Cubs. The Yankees have that tying run on first. He's a fast man. Twinkle-toes Selkirk. Gordon's at bat. This boy's driven in an awful lot of runs this year. There's the stretch by Dean, the pitch. There goes the ball toward third. Hack gets it. Over to second. Second back to first. And he's safe at first, but out of second for a force out. Hack fumbled the ball a little bit, went to his knees, got up and threw it to Herman. Herman made a quick quartering throw over to first base, but Gordon was too fast. He's safe on a fielder's choice, and he represents the tying run, whereas Selkirk was forced out at second base from Hack over to Herman. We'll see who bats for Gomez. Somebody coming up to bat for Gomez. Big husky boy, too. Gomez is out of the game. Gomez pitched 7 innings. He allowed 11 hits. He walked 1. He struck out 5, and 3 runs came in on his pitching. Looks like Powell? No. Mel Hogue is batting for Gomez. Hogue is coming up as a pinch batter for Gomez. Coming up as a pinch batter in the 8th inning for Gomez. Lefty Gomez is out. There's a man over on first base. Dean ready to pitch down to Hogue. Dean pitches, and Hogue takes the first one outside. Low ball. Ball 1, no strikes, 1 down on the tying run on first base. We have Hadley and Murphy warming up for the Yankees. There's a stretch by Dean. The look toward first. The ball is pitched in for the strike on the outside corner at the knees. Change of pace. A very, very slow ball. Jack Russell is keeping warm for the Cubs. Dean stretches and looks toward first. That's Gordon leading over there. The ball is hit toward right field. It's a slow bounder. Over to second base for the force out. Herman got the ball. With a backspin on it, it took a bounce, and Herman got the ball and forced Gordon over to second base and leaves Hogue over on first base on the fielder's choice. Hogue is on first base on the fielder's choice, and we have a runner out of second base from Herman over to Jurgens. That puts 2 down, a man on first, and brings Crosetti to bat. Crossetti's been hitting the ball awfully hard this afternoon, but he's been flying out to left field. Larry French and Jack Russell keeping warm for the Cubs. Throw over to first base, the runner's safe. Runner is safe on first base, that's Hogue. Another pitch, quick throw over to first base. He's safe this time, but by an eyelash. Collins tried to put the ball on him twice that time. Hadley and Murphy keeping warm for the Yankees. Watch for this pitch down here. Dean has his sign. Here's the pitch. Strike. Right down the middle. Then strike to Crosetti, a fast sidearm ball. Dean's ready to pitch again with a man over on first base. Hogue, he's plenty fast. The Cubs are ahead by a score of 3-2. We're playing the first half of the 8th. There's the stretch by Dean, the look toward first. He pitches. High. Call for a pitch out that time in case Hogue went down, but he didn't. Ball 1 and strike 1. Dean swings toward the rubber. Leans over to get his sign. Now he toes the rubber. Dean's ready to pitch this ball in. There's the stretch and the look toward first. He steps back off the bag, off the pitching rubber, and looks toward first. Hogue was making a dancing motion like he might go. Dean has his sign now. A high stretch by Dean. The glance toward first. A quick throw to first base. The throw's on the wrong side of the bag, and the player comes in, and he's safe. Off to the right of the bag instead of in the inside left corner. Ball 1, strike 1. He fouls the next one back into the net, goes Crosetti. Ball 1, strike 2. Dean gets his sign to pick the next one down. 1 and 2 to the hitter. Dean's up on the mound. Rubs the ball up. Now he's ready to toe the rubber. Dean swings with his toe up on the rubber. There's the stretch to look toward first. Runner makes a jumping motion. There's the ball fouled up into the upper part of the net. Ball 1, strike 2, 2 down. 3-2 in favor of the Cubs and playing the first half of the 8th. Busy Dean receives the new ball from Hartnett. Dean's ready to swing into position. Man on first base is Hogue. Dean has his sign. There's the stretch. The look toward first. 1 and 2 on the hitter. Ball floats down and is hit toward third base. He went for a slow ball that time. Went down toward third base and just missed the dugout. Ball came in on the bat handle. Gabby Hartnett yelled something to Dean. Watching for the ball to be pitched in. Dean has his sign. Keeps letting his arm flop along at the side. Ball 1, strike 2. Runner on first is Hogue. Dean has the sign. There's the stretch to look toward first. Here's the pitch. Umpire says, what? The ball wide. Ball 2, strike 2. Gabby tried to call a strike, but it's wide. Umpire was right on top of the play. Umpire Cole's a good man. They're all good umpires, or they wouldn't be in the World Series. In fact, they're good umpires, or they wouldn't be umpiring in the American or National League. They're the top men in their business, or they wouldn't be up here. Ball 2, strike 2, 2 down, a man on first. Dean stretches. He looks toward first. Here's the pitch. There's the ball fouled down the third baseline. Into the dugout again. Ball 2, strike 2. They're taking a cut at everything that Dean serves up there, trying to get that tying run around. Hogue is a fast enough boy on his feet. Ready for that next ball to be pitched. Umpire dusts off the home plate. The sun has gone back up a cloud somewhere. We can't see the cloud, but it's somewhere off to the west. We're facing directly toward the east, right down the first baseline. There's the stretch by Dean. Here's the pitch. Umpire says it's wide and low. Ball 3, strike 2, and the runner can start with the pitch now. Yankee fans start to talk it up. Cub fans are yelling for Dizzy to hold him. Runner on first, ready to go with the pitch. Dizzy stretches. Steps off the mound as he finds out that the hitter has stepped out of the batsman's box. Ball 3, strike 2, 2 down, and the runner on first can go with the pitch. Dean is pitching to Selkirk. Dean stretches. Dean's ready to let it go. Here it comes. There goes the ball out to left field. It's foul. I said Selkirk. I meant Crossetti. He's pitching to Crossetti. I was thinking of Twinkle Toes, Selkirk, who got the hit to start this 8th inning, was forced at second. Crossetti is the man at bat. Ball 3, strike 2, 2 men down, and Hogue on first base. Dean ready to pitch this ball down to Crossetti. Dean swings out of the mound, toes the rubber. Runner on first can go with the pitch on a 3-2 with 2 down. There he goes. Here's the pitch. There goes the ball for a high, long drive out in the left field stands for a home run. Crossetti hits a home run out into the left field stands, and the score has now changed complexion. It's the Yankees 4 and the Cubs 3. 2 runs coming in, and that's only hit number 5 off the pitching of Dean. A well-hit ball. He's been aiming for that all afternoon, trying hard to pull that ball, and he's been holding back, and 3 times Crossetti has flied out to Reynolds. Once he held back and hit into the corner, Reynolds got it there. The next 2 times he drove him clear back to the wall. A well-hit ball for a home run, and the Yankees have gone out ahead by a score of 4-3. Next ball pitched in was pitched into Rolfe. Rolfe got that ball. First one for the ball, the next one for a strike. Ready for the next ball to be pitched. Next one floats in close for another ball. Ball 2, strike 1, 2 down, and 2 runs in for the Yankees. They're ahead 4-3. The Yankees are all jumping up and down over there on the bench, and they're patting Crossetti on the head and hitting him on the back. Crossetti finally got the first home run of the World Series. There goes the ball for a high foul toward first. No sense going for that. It's way back in there. Gentleman caught the ball with the edge of his cap that time. Missed it. Ball 2, strike 2. 4-3 in favor of the Yankees in the 8th inning. Here's the pitch. Umpire says you're out. Strike 3. Rolfe stood there and looked at it slide by, and he's called out on strikes. Rolfe is following the umpire over toward Pat Piper to get some new balls. The coach on third base comes up to say something, and the umpire pays no attention to him. There were 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, and no one left in the bases. In 8 innings, Dizzy Dean has allowed 5 hits and 4 runs, and his opponent, Lefty Gomez, in 7 innings, allowed 11 hits and 3 runs. Now we have a new pitcher coming in, and I think it's Murphy. Murphy, who has been depended upon to be the great man for the Yankees in the pinches as a pitcher, is the man who's coming in to pitch, I believe. Murphy will probably come in to pitch. First man coming to bat will be Demery. Demery, Marty, and Reynolds, the first 3 coming up to face Murphy in the 8th inning. The Cubs need 1 run to tie and 2 to go out and get ahead. Cubs got 1 run in the first. They got 2 runs in the third. The Yankees got 2 runs in the second, and they got 2 runs in the 8th. On a home run by Crossetti with a man aboard. Murphy coming in to pitch. Murphy coming in to pitch in the 8th inning. Murphy's a great big right-hander. The Yankees are leading by a score of 4-3. The Cubs about hit them 2-1, but they haven't been able to get those runs in the pinches. A very, very well hit ball by Crossetti, who's been aiming at that left field bleacher all afternoon. And this is the one, instead of hitting a high fly, that he hit the line drive. He really got a hold of that pitch by Dean and smacked himself a line drive that really went for a home run. This is the last half of the 8th. Murphy's having his warm-up throws with Dickey. Man who's coming to bat is Demery. He's got one hit, laid down a sacrifice, and he's flied out to DiMaggio. The crowd's starting to say play ball, but Murphy still keeps throwing the ball down to Dickey. Dickey finally gets ready to throw it back to him. The umpire dusts off the home plate. The throw is made to second. Murphy comes down to talk with Dickey about the sign. The first man coming to bat is Frankie Demery. All right, the Yankees asserted their power, and with a man aboard, got the only home run of the World Series so far, and that made the Yankees 4 and the Cubs 3. The Cubs have got to get a run to tie and 2 to go ahead. It's a seesaw battle. The Cubs were ahead in the first inning. The Yankees were ahead in the second. The Cubs turned around and got ahead again in the third. The Yankees went ahead in the 8th, and Frankie Demery just took a ball that just missed his nose, too close. Murphy ready to pitch to Demery. Frank's watching for it. There goes the ball for a high fly over toward third base. It's a foul back into the stands, and we find Rolfe and Crossetti both going for it, but not a chance. Couldn't get to it. A long foul of that northeast wind carried back into the stands. 4-3 in favor of the Yankees. Last half of the 8th. Man up at bat is Frankie Demery, waiting for the ball to be pitched. Demery's watching for it. He's had one hit this afternoon. That was off of Gomez. He attempted to bunt, and the ball went foul for strike 2. Ball 1, strike 2. Ball 1 and strike 2 to the hitter. All set for the ball to be pitched in. Frank is watching for it. They're playing Frank for a full hitter toward left. That leaves center field and right field wide open. Right down the middle, but it's too low. Ball was down below the knees. Dickey started to throw the ball toward third base, and the umpire says, "I'm sorry, son, that was a ball." Ball 2, strike 2. Demery waiting for another one. Bat on the shoulder. Swung at it for a strike. Went for a curveball that time. The last 3 men to come up have gone down swinging. That's strikeout number 1 for Murphy. The first man he faced, he struck out. They say that's bad luck. Well, here comes Marty to bat. He's driven in all 3 of the Cubs' runs. Joe Marty coming to bat. 1 man down, nobody on. Ready for the pitch to Joe. High ball. 1 ball too high and wide. Gets it outside corner with an overhand curve. It's 4-3 in favor of the Yankees. Ready for the ball to be pitched. Marty's watching for it. Low ball, 2. Over the plate, but too low. Overhand pitch. Murphy has been a great relief man for the Yankees for the past couple years. We'll see how the next one goes. Marty's watching for it. There goes the ball for a high fly toward right field, way out there, but it's back into the stands. Right fielder started for it, made a nice run, but the ball was fouled by at least 60 feet. Snapped his glasses down and went for it. That's heads-up ball, though. When you keep going for it, you never can tell what the wind will do. Ball 2, strike 1. Marty at bat, watching for another one. We'll see how it comes in. Marty takes one close to his belt for ball 3. That's 3-1, and the next 2 must be good. The next 2 have to be in there for Marty. It's 4-3 in favor of the Yankees on a home run in the 8th inning with a man aboard. That home run hit by Crossetti. Marty took a strike in the outside corner, makes it 3-2. He put the burden of proof on the pitcher. JoJo's watching for the next one. He struck out. Marty's up there. Watch for the pitch. 3-2. 1 down. There it goes. That's the right field. Marty gets his hit. There you have it. 3 hits in a row for Marty. A double and 2 singles. It's a man over on first base. That's hit number 1 off Murphy. The tying run is on. With Reynolds coming to bat. Reynolds at bat with a man over on first. 1 man down. Marty's over on first base. The tying run is on. The Cubs must bring it in here. First ball of the slow curve, strike 1. 1 strike it is to Carl Reynolds. 1 man out, a man on first base, and strike 1 of the hitter. The next pitch will change something. It's 4-3 in favor of the Yankees, the last out of the 8th. Cubs at bat. There goes the ball for a drive down towards second base. Over to shortstop. Shortstop back to first with a double play from Gordon to Crossetti to Gehrig. Reynolds hits into a double play from Gordon, second base. Crossetti at short to Gehrig over at first. And the side is retired with no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and no one left on base. All right, the score is 4-3 in favor of the Yankees. The broadcast of the World Series games between the Chicago Cubs and the New York Yankees is coming to you from Wrigley Field, Chicago. We pause for station identification.
This is the WBBM Air Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago.
All right, John Harrington, will you take this next inning? Thank you.
Going into the first half of the ninth inning, the score reading 4-3 in favor of the New York Yankees over the Chicago Cubs. The first man to come up is going to be Tommy Henrich, the right fielder. Tommy Henrich is ready to step in the batter's box. However, Gabby Hartnett, who was scheduled to come up to bat after Carl Reynolds, had to go over to the dugout and put on all that catching paraphernalia. So he's finally come out there now, and he's standing just in back of the plate. Dizzy Dean out there on the mound has finished his warm-ups, and the first man is stepping in the batter's box is Tommy Henrich, the right fielder. There's the windup by Dizzy Dean. Here's the pitch, and Henrich hits a line drive smash out to right field for a single. Taken out there by Demery, thrown into second base to Billy Herman, and he's held at first. Henrich singles to right field. Henrich on first base. That brings DiMaggio up to the plate. Joe DiMaggio coming up. DiMaggio steps in the batter's box. Thus far today he's had 1 hit, a base hit to left field, a single, and on that single he was one of the 2 runs to score for the New York Yankees in the second inning. Already there's the scratch to look toward first base. And here's the pitch by Dizzy Dean. The ball is hit for a long one way out deep into left field. It's going over the fence and over the wall for a home run. A home run for Joe DiMaggio over the left field wall, scoring 2 more runs for the New York Yankees and putting them ahead by a score of 6-3 in the ball game. The Yankees 6, the Cubs 3.